Today I have a really special story about one of our heroes on our heroes cards. His name is Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi. Did anybody get the card of Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi?
Yeah.
Good job. Okay.
Okay,
We're going to start the story of when he was a little baby. When Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi was a tiny baby, actually there was a very bad Roman king, and he ruled over Israel. And he said, I don't want, and I use my puppets over and over, sorry children. I don't want the Jewish people to keep Torah and mitzvot, and I don't want them to be different from us Romans. And therefore, no one is allowed to make a Brit Milah for the baby. Anyone who is makes caught making a Brit Milah is going to get killed. Now, children,
Who is that?
This is the Roman emperor. He was very bad.
What's his name?
Now, children, we're not talking about his name now. And if you have a question, you have to raise your hand. And no questions till the end. So, the Roman emperor, children, he was very bad. Actually, he did what's also called the Asara Harugei Malchut. 10 great rabbis. He killed them in a very not nice way, and he really hurt them. And on the day that Rabbi Akiva got killed by the Roman emperor, on that very day, a baby was born, a Jewish baby. Sorry, to look for my pictures.
This?
A Jewish baby was born, and his name was Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi. He was the son of Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel was a very, very great Torah scholar, and we learn about him in Pirkei Avot, the Mishna.
That's the same.
And he said, oh my goodness, my wife, Baruch Hashem, gave birth to a baby boy. I know, I'm so happy, but the Roman emperor kills anyone who makes a Brit Milah for their baby. I don't care. We're going to make a Brit Milah regardless. We're going to just ignore the king and make a Brit Milah. Now, the soldiers, it was a boy baby, yes. And the soldiers said, hey, Mrs. Shimon ben Gamliel had a baby 8 days ago. And now there's like a whole gathering in his house. Oh, I bet they're making a Brit Milah. Hey, you, Jew, did you see what are they doing? Did they make a Brit Milah? And the Jewish people didn't want to say anything. But the Romans suspected that he did make a Brit Milah. And word got to the king in Rome that Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel made a Brit Milah for his baby. Now remember, this was a very, very difficult time for the Jews. On the day that Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi was born was the same day that Rabbi Akiva got killed. They were killing Jews for keeping Torah and mitzvot and for teaching Torah. And he said, hey, I want to check for myself. Go tell Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel and his wife that they have to come here to Rome, and I want to check their baby to see if they made a Brit Milah for the baby. Now, children, it was obviously very difficult to travel with the baby, and also incredibly dangerous, because he would see that, in fact, little Yehuda Hanasi did have a Brit Milah, and he was going to kill Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel and his wife and the baby, all three of them. But Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel wasn't scared. He said, I don't care what the emperor of Rome does to us. I'm going to go, and even if he kills me and my baby and my wife, at least it will show Jews that no matter what, we have to continue being Jewish and stand up for Torah and mitzvot and stand up for our right to be Jews and live as Jews, and we don't have to be like the Romans. And on their way, children, as they were traveling, it was a long journey. As I told you, it was very difficult to travel with a newborn baby. It wasn't like an airplane ride today. They had to travel for many days on a donkey or whatever, and they were accompanied by the soldiers, and then they had to take a boat ride. It was very hard. On the way, they passed by the house of a Roman minister. He was an important Roman, whatever, like prime minister or something. No, he wasn't Jewish. He was Roman. He wasn't Jewish at all.
Was he bad?
But no, he was actually very good. And he said, hey, I see Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel coming. Wonder why he's coming. I know. Look, his wife just had a baby. I also just had a baby. It must be so hard for them. Let's invite them to come in. And the Roman wife was very kind. And she said to Rabbi Shimon's wife, she says, come in, you have a little baby. It must be so hard for you to travel with such a tiny newborn. I also have a newborn baby. Why are you traveling? Because the Roman emperor wants to check my baby and see if I made a Brit Milah. And he's going to see that we did. And he's going to kill us all. That's terrible. No way, we're not going to let that happen. I know what to do. You had a baby and I had a baby. You made a Brit Milah for your baby because you're Jewish, but I didn't. So let's switch babies just for the trip. Take my baby to Rome and I'll watch over your baby. Now, children, that's exactly what they did. I only had a girl dolly, but it was actually a boy. And they switched the babies. The Roman lady watched over Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi as a baby, and Rabbi Shimon's wife watched over the Roman baby whose name was Antogninos. I hope I'm getting his name right. I think Marquillus Antogninos. He had a very difficult name to pronounce. Either way, shh. So Antogninos was with Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel's wife, and she fed the baby her milk, and she took care of the baby. And when she arrived in front of the king, when all three of them came in front of the king said, I want to check the baby. I heard you made a Brit Milah. And he looked and he said, oh, 1 second. This baby didn't have a Brit Milah. And he got very angry with his soldiers. He said, you silly soldiers. You told me they made a Brit Milah. No, they didn't. Look, the baby isn't Jewish. This baby didn't have a Brit Milah done to them. You foolish soldiers. You shamed me in front of one of the biggest rabbis among the Jewish people. And he got very angry with his own soldiers, which was very good. And he sent them back home with their baby, and he didn't hurt the baby or anything. And of course, it wasn't their own baby that they brought. It was a non-Jewish baby. And Togninos, when they came back, they switched babies back again. So Rabbi Shimon's wife got Yehuda Hanasi, and Togninos went back to his mom. And they both grew up. Little Yehuda grew up to be Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, became very great children. He compiled the Mishna. He's the one who started to say, you know what? He was born about, I think, 70 years or 80 years after the destruction of the second Bet HaMikdash. And he said, this is terrible. He said, this is terrible. The Jews are being scattered all over the world. Up until now, the Jewish people were all in the land of Israel, and we could learn the Torah Sheba'al Peh by word of mouth. We had the Chumash and the Nevi'im and the Ketuvim, and that was written down. But the oral Torah, the Mishna, the Halachot, the Shulchan Aruch, the Mefarshim, the Medrash, all this wasn't written down. People just learned it by word of mouth. And so Yehuda Hanasi said, we have to start compiling the Mishnah. We have to write down the Mishnah. And Antogninos' children, even though he was the son of a minister in a small little area, didn't find that this Antogninos grown up. Hashem made he became very kind, became very good. He was one of the best Roman rulers we ever had. And the Torah tells us, because he drank the milk from Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel's wife, and he had Chalav Yisrael, and he became very kind because of it. And he grew up, and he loved Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi very, very much also. And they became very good friends. They both got married and they had their family. But children is an important part. The bad emperor died, and he didn't leave any children. And all ministers said, oh, we're going to make the new emperor. And they thought, oh, maybe the big emperor from the big country of Spain or the big country of Italy. But in the end, they didn't. You know who they chose? They chose Antogninos. And we're told Hashem did this as a special miracle for them, because Antogninos saved Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi's life. And the two of them became very, very close friends. And he always helped Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, and Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi advised Antoninos many times with secret messages and all, so that nobody actually realized that the Roman emperor is asking advice from the rabbi of the Jews. Like, for example, Antoninos was the new emperor now, would send a message and say, I'm losing a lot of money from my coffers, from all my treasure chests houses. And Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi wouldn't say anything. He'd just go to his garden and he'd pluck out some of the plants and he'd put new plants. And the messengers would say, so, did you hear? The Roman emperor said that he's losing a lot of money. And Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi wouldn't answer because he didn't want to show and shame the Roman emperor, that the Roman emperor doesn't know what to do and he has to ask him for advice. But he didn't say anything, just kept quiet. But when the soldiers came back, they would tell the Roman emperor, they'd say, when we were there and we told him what happened to you, all your treasures, he unplucked some of his plants and he put new plants. And the emperor understood that he has to change his workers. He has to change some of the ministers. That what Yehuda Hanasi is telling him, maybe some of your ministers are bad. You have to change them and put new ministers. So they had like a secret code. And they became very good friends. And Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi was very, very, very rich. He became like the prince of the Jewish people. People would say about him that his stable houses were more filled with treasures than the treasure houses of the king of Persia. That's how rich he became. But children, one day he was teaching Torah, and a little lamb came.
My keyboard.
A little lamb came. And the little lamb was being taken to the slaughterhouse. And it ran away from the herd, and it hid under Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi's big coat. He had a big coat, like a big cape. And the farmer was looking everywhere. And Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi said to the little sheep, to the lamb, he said, shh, boy, it disturbs you. And he said, little lamb, go. Hashem created you, so you should be slaughtered and eaten. And that the Jewish people should get, wait, boys, this keeper is really disturbing. Give it to me. At the end of the class, we will discuss it. Sorry, boys, it just disturbs Danny, okay? You'll get it at the end. And he said, go back, because this is what Hashem created you for. Now, children, Hashem judges tzaddikim kechuta se'ara, like a thin hair's breadth. Hashem is very, very strict with tzaddikim. And Hashem judged Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi very strictly. Even though what he did wasn't bad, he was right. The sheep had to go with all the other sheep and get used so people can eat it and get energy and serve Hashem. But Hashem was angry with Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi for it and for not being more gentle and more careful with the little lamb. And from that day on, Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi got a very bad toothache. And the toothache spread to his eyes and to his head and then to his internal organs. And he got very sick. And his doctors told him, Yehuda Hanasi, you can't stay here. In order to get well, you have to go live in Tzipori. Tzipori was like high up on the mountains where the air is very clear. And they said, you have to go there. And Yehuda Hanasi felt very bad. He said, I want to stay here in I don't know if it was in Jerusalem or Yavne, one of those cities. He said, I want to stay here and learn Torah and continue to teach. I don't want to go to Tzipori. And the doctors told him, you're too sick, you have to go. And he said, V'shamarta me'od al nafshotechem. We have to very, very much protect ourselves and protect our body. And even a little hole in the body, a little prick on the finger, or a little tiny toothache is a huge hole in the neshama. The Frierdiker Rebbe, the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, teaches us, he says a person has to take very good care of their body. Because if the body doesn't feel well, then we can't serve Hashem well. If a person has an aching prick or like a splinter in their finger and it keeps hurting them, then they can't concentrate with their davening because their finger keeps hurting them. So Yehuda Hanasi said, you know what? It's a big mitzvah to protect our bodies and keep our bodies healthy and safe. And so he he went to Tzipori and he left the place where was the big Torah center, and he started a new Torah center in Tzipori where he taught Jewish people there. But he taught us to be very, very careful and keep ourselves healthy and well. We always have to morning and night. And during the summer, we always have to be very careful to do what?
Water.
Drink a lot of water. When we cross the street, boys, how do we cross? Do we run into the street?
No.
No.
Children,
4 steps to take. It's called the Green Cross Code. You have to be very careful. Number 1 is you stop. You never, ever, ever run into the street. If your ball rolls into the street, if you see a friend across the street, if someone's calling you, if the ice cream truck is there, I don't care. You never, ever step off the sidewalk without stopping
But what if
first.
there's no sidewalk?
Then you stay on the side. But the number 1 thing to do, put your hand down, is we stop. The number 2 thing we have to do is think. You never cross into the street without thinking. The 3rd thing we do is we look. You look left, right, and then left again. And if you see no cars are there, then you cross. And the last thing we do, children, is also we listen. Cars, sometimes things come very fast, like a very fast motorcycle, like, but even though sometimes you can't see it or it's turning a corner, it makes a loud sound. So you have to stop, think, look, and listen. And of course, to cross by the traffic light or to cross with a competent adult, someone who can take care of you. A crosswalker, right, crosswalker. When you bike, what must you make sure to wear? Helmet. Keep your head safe. When you go in the car, what do you have to make sure to put on? After using the bathroom or before eating. Wash your hands. You don't see it, but there's germs on our fingers. And we have to be careful because if a person puts the germs by their mouth, the germs can go inside and make a person unwell. So we have to keep ourselves healthy and safe. When we are in the park, there are a lot of different people there we don't know. We never, ever, ever go with somebody we don't know. Even if someone says, hey, look, I have a nice doggy. You want to see my doggy? Or someone says, come, I'll give you a lollipop. If you don't know that person, you don't go with them, children. We don't go into the car or go alone with somebody. Not now. We don't know. We always ask our parents first. And even if the park is very big and your father or mother or your babysitter or whoever is on the other side of the park, you go and you ask your parents' permission. And if someone keeps trying to call you, you don't go with them. We stay safe. Sometimes, children, there are certain touches that are very nice. Not now, comments at the end. That are nice touches. Like your daddy gives you a hug. Your mommy gives you a kiss, or someone, your grandfather pats your head. Those are nice, comfortable feelings. Those feel nice. Those touches feel nice. Sometimes they're touches that hurt, like a slap or a punch. That can really hurt. And you can feel your body hurts from the slap or your body hurts from the punch. But sometimes, children, there are touches that don't feel nice, like your mommy's hug or your daddy's kiss. And they don't feel like a hard punch, like your mommy somebody, not your mommy, like somebody punched you or hit you or you banged into the table. It just feels like kind of that didn't feel right. That didn't feel nice. I didn't like that feeling. If somebody tries to touch us in a way that doesn't feel right to us, especially if it's inside our clothing, we always, always, always tell our parents, even if it's somebody, we might know that person and they might be someone we love or somebody we know. You have to say, don't touch me, and I am telling my mommy, you must never. Now, Be'ezrat Hashem, things like this will never happen. But it's good to learn about it and know how to protect ourselves, especially if we're told to keep it a secret. Sometimes there's a happy secret. For example, because we don't have time, so we're going to go through it very fast. Sometimes, in the end, I'll take a comment, darling, not now, sweetie. Sometimes there's a happy secret, like a surprise birthday party for your mommy. So you make a cake and you decorate a big sign and you buy a present and it's a secret and they say, shh, don't tell your mommy, shh, it's a secret. But you know why it's a happy secret? Because it won't stay a secret forever. Tomorrow, when it's your mommy's birthday and you scream surprise and mommy sees the cake and the sign on the wall and the present, it's not a secret anymore. It becomes a happy, open thing. It doesn't stay a secret. A happy secret is a secret that doesn't have to stay secret forever. It's a secret that one day you go and you tell your mommy about it when the surprise happens, when the birthday party happens, or something like that. But a dangerous secret, children, is a secret if someone tells us, let's go do something secret. Don't tell your mommy and don't tell your daddy ever. If you do, I'm going to hurt you. If you do, I'm going to hurt your mommy. I'm going to hurt your daddy. That's a dangerous secret. That's not a safe secret. And we have to make sure to dafka tell our parents. Dafka go and tell my mommy and tell my daddy. And we must never be scared to tell our parents anything like that, because no one loves us more than our parents. And they protect us and they take care of us. And they're big adults and they understand better than us what is safe for us. So even if we think something, oh, that wasn't very nice, I'm not going to tell my mommy that happened. You mustn't do that, children. Mommy will never be angry with you. Mommy will only protect you. Even if she looks like she's angry or upset. She's not. Oh, so you tell the person, don't do that to me. My mommy doesn't let you. Don't be afraid to tell them. And you go, and afterwards when you see your mommy, you go tell your mommy. And also you tell the person, if you'll do something like that to me, I'm going to go tell my mommy. And you push, or your daddy, right? Your daddy or your mommy, right? Usually mommy is home when you come home, but your dad or your mom, that's right. Even if your brother does something you don't like, you tell your mommy, But children, no comments now. No comments now. It's almost dismissal, children. So Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi taught us something very important. I'm going to finish 2 minutes. He taught us the concept that even though he really wanted to stay where the Torah learning was, he moved to the mountains where it was fresh and air and would make him well. Because before anything, we have to keep ourselves safe. When our body is healthy and well, then our neshama is healthy and well, and we could serve Hashem in a healthy, well way. And Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, one day, he was sitting and learning Torah, and there were little mice. And the cleaning lady, the maidservant, came with the broom, and she started to sweep away the baby mice and chuck them out of the house. And she was being very rough on the little baby mice. And Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi said, careful, leave them. Don't hurt them with the broom. Their mommy also wants them. Leave them, their mommy will cry and look for them. Leave them, don't sweep them away. And as soon as now children, this doesn't come to teach us that if you see a mouse or an insect or something not nice in your house that you have to leave it there. We do call the exterminator and we do clean up our house. But we put a spray, we chase away these things from our house because they're not clean and they're not healthy. But the Torah is teaching us the concept that Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, the concept of being kind to animals. And when Hashem saw that Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi was kind to the little mice and had what's called tsar ba'alei chaim, he was careful with tsar ba'alei chaim. He was keeping the little mice happy and safe and gentle with them. Hashem, overnight like that, took away his toothache and suddenly he was completely well. And he went back and he compiled what we call, as we said before, the Mishna. And so tomorrow I want to see which of our boys in our Torah Heroes cards has the card of Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi.